A florist's calm drive turns chaotic when a contractor cuts her off on a mountain highway, braking hard. She swerves, slams a guardrail, $3,000 in damage. She says it's intentional, her dashcam blazing with proof. He swears she tailgated, his brake a reflex. In a tense courtroom, a sharp judge sifts video and clashing tales. Will evidence nail him or slip away? Dive into this gripping clash, where metal bends, tempers flare, and false edge blurs, leaving truth dangling in the crisp autumn air. The air along Highway 41 just outside Asheville, North Carolina, hung crisp and sharp with the mingled scents of pine needles, fallen leaves, and the faint tang of exhaust under a golden October sky, its sunlight glinting off the asphalt in sharp, fleeting bursts that danced across the road like scattered coins, catching the eye with every gleam. The highway, a winding ribbon of blacktop flanked by dense forests of oak and maple, their leaves ablaze in shades of crimson amber and burnt orange, stretched through the Blue Ridge foothills, its curves hugging the terrain as it snaked toward the city. A path carved through rolling hills, the distant hum of Asheville's downtown, a faint pulse beneath the rustle of wind through the trees, their branches swaying gently in the cool breeze that swept down from the ridges. The afternoon was cool, a brisk 58 degrees, the kind of day that sharpened the senses and painted the world in vivid strokes, the sky, a deep, endless blue that seemed to press down on the earth, amplifying the crunch of gravel under tires, the whisper of leaves skittering across the pavement, and the occasional cry of a hawk circling high above its shadow, a fleeting mark against the golden glow. Sarah Ellis, 34, a florist with a steady hand, honed by years arranging delicate blooms at her shop. Petals on patten, drove her silver Honda Accord southbound at 4:10 p.m. Her back seat piled with boxes of roses and lilies for a wedding delivery, their sweet scent mingling with the faint leather of her upholstery, a fragrance that clung to her clothes after a long day. Her blonde hair was pulled into a loose bun, strands slipping free to frame her pale, freckled face. Her steady green eyes fixed on the road as she navigated the familiar curves, her hands firm on the wheel, her fingers still dusted with pollen from a rush, order of chrysanthemums, her breath even. Despite the long day, 3 arrangements, a last-minute bouquet for a grieving widow in a spilled vase that had left her shop floor, sticky with water, and petals a mess she'd mopped up with a sigh before. Locking the door, she'd left the shop at 3:45 p.m. late, but steady her Accord, humming along at 50 miles per hour. The speed limit her mind on the delivery deadline for a 6 p.m. wedding at the Biltmore estate, and the quiet evening she'd promised herself with a glass of Pinot Noir and a novel. A rare pause in her relentless rhythm of orders, invoices, and the quiet ache of a life stretched thin since her divorce 3 years prior. At 4:15 p.m., a black SUV, a Ford Explorer, its finish gleaming under the sun like polished obsidian, merged from a side road onto Highway 41, cutting across Sarah's lane with a sudden lurch that forced her to jerk the wheel right, her brakes squealing a high-pitched wail that pierced the crisp air as she swerved to avoid a collision, her Accord's tires scraping the guardrail with a sickening crunch of metal on metal, a grinding sound that echoed through the trees, the impact jolting her forward against her seatbelt, her chest tightening as boxes tumbled in the back pedals, scattering like confetti across the upholstery, a burst of red and white against the gray fabric. Her heart slammed against her ribs, her steady hands trembling as she pulled to the shoulder, the Accord shuddering to a stop. Its right side crumpled, a dented door and a scraped fender, staring back at her like a fresh wound, jagged and raw, $3,000 in damage. She'd later learned from the mechanic's estimate, her breath catching in her throat as she stared at the wreckage, her steady green eyes wide with shock and rising fury. The SUV stopped ahead, its brake lights flaring red, a sharp, accusing glow, and the driver stepped out, James Carter, 40, a contractor with a gruff voice and a broad frame hardened by years, hauling lumber and swinging hammers. His dark hair cropped short under a faded ball cap, his gray eyes glinting with irritation as he strode back toward her, his work boots crunching gravel, his flannel shirt rolled to the elbows over forearms, thick with muscle, and dusted with sawdust from a morning at a site, his breath visible in the cool air As he approached, Sarah flung her door open, stepping onto the shoulder, her sneakers scuffing the gravel. Her steady green eyes blazing as she faced him, her voice sharp, cutting through the crisp air like a blade through silk. "You cut me off. What the hell was that? You braked hard on purpose. I had to swerve. Look at my car, it's ruined." James crossed his arms over his broad chest, his gruff voice steady, but edged with defiance, his gray eyes narrowing as he wiped sweat from his brow with the back of his hand. "You were tailgating, lady. I braked normal. You're too close. That's on you, not me. You overreacted." Sarah's hands clenched into fists at her sides, her breath quickening, her voice rising a tremor of fury beneath her steady tone. "Tailgating? I was at 50, the limit. You merged out of nowhere, slammed your brakes. Road was clear, you meant it. I've got a dashcam, it's all there." James shrugged, his gray eyes glinting with a flicker of scorn, his broad frame shifting slightly as he leaned back against his SUV. "Dashcam or not, I didn't mean it. You were on my tail, I braked you. Swerved, your fault, not mine, deal with it." Their words clashed, a storm brewing over the highway traffic, slowing as drivers craned necks, their headlights glinting off the Accord's crumpled side. A silent witness to their escalating clash, rubberneckers whispering through cracked windows, the scent of pine and exhaust thick in the air, the golden light casting long shadows that stretched like fingers across the road, a tableau of tension etched in dust and metal. Sarah saw intent, a deliberate jab in James' heart, break a reckless move that shattered her car, and her calm, her steady hands itching to grab her phone and call it in her mind, replaying the flash of brake lights, the jolt of impact. James saw reaction, a tailgater, too close his brake, a reflex, not a weapon. His broad frame tensing as he stood his ground, his gruff voice a shield against her accusations. She pulled her phone from her pocket, her steady hand dialing 911, her voice firm, cutting through the hum of passing cars. "Highway 41 mile marker 12, accident. No injuries, need a report now. Send someone quick." Officers arrived at 4:25 p.m., their boots crunching gravel as they stepped from their cruiser, its lights flashing red and blue against the golden dusk, taking statements. Sarah's, "He cut me off, braked hard, forced me off." James, "She was on me. I braked normal, she swerved." Filing a report that listed disputed fault in neat black ink. No tickets issued, just damage and disagreement etched on a clipboard, their voices a low hum beneath the wind, the Accord's crumpled side, a stark testament to their words. That night, Sarah sat in her small apartment off Biltmore Avenue, a one-bedroom walk-up with creaking floors and a view of the city lights, the Accord towed to a shop on Merriman Avenue. Repair estimate $3,000, dashcam footage saved on her laptop, its grainy frames replaying in her mind, brake lights flaring her swerve, the crunch, her steady green eyes glinting with resolve as she watched her hands steady as she sipped tea, her voice sharp with determination. "He meant it. I've got proof he's not dodging this." She sued James, $3,000 for repairs, plus stress filing the claim at the courthouse clerk's window on College Street 3 days later, October 15th. Her steady hands trembling as she signed the form, her florist's apron traded for a blazer, her voice firm. "He braked hard on purpose, it's on video, he's paying for this." Their clash hit court, a storm, brewing over fault and truth, Asheville's crisp autumn air, pressing down like a judge's scrutiny waiting to fall. The city's golden hills a faint shimmer beyond the tension, a quiet witness to their unraveling trust. The Buncombe County Courthouse hummed on a cool November morning, its marble halls echoing with footsteps that reverberated off the polished floors like a steady drumbeat, threading through the crisp air. A rhythm of purpose, the scent of polished wood mingling with the faint musk of old files, stacked in corners, their edges curling from years of handling, and the sharp tang of coffee from paper cups clutched by restless hands, its bitter aroma drifting through the space. A hum of voices spilling from open courtrooms like whispers weaving through the stillness that settled over the room, its coolness a stark contrast to the heat of the disputes within. The civil courtroom sat on the 3rd floor, a modest room with oak benches worn smooth by years of Asheville's disputes, landlord feuds over unpaid rent, settled with terse nods or bitter glares that lingered in the air. Small business clashes, hashed out in clipped exchanges of blame and defense, that left the room taut with unresolved tension, traffic disputes, ending in reluctant fines or empty apologies that faded into the hum like echoes. Its walls lined with faded maps of North Carolina, their edges curling under the weight of time, and the cool dampness that seeped through the high windows. Their glass clear, offering glimpses of Asheville's skyline beyond its brick buildings, and distant Blue Ridge peaks glowing gold in the morning light, a quiet beauty framing the tension below. At the front, behind a raised bench scarred with nicks and pen marks that traced a decade of rulings and late-night deliberations over yellowed files, sat Judge Clara Monroe, 52. Her gray hair pinned back in a low bun that gleamed under the fluorescent lights, accentuating the sharp lines of her weathered face, etched by years of courtroom battles and Carolina summers, her blue eyes sharp with a quiet intensity that cut through the room's stillness like a hawk, spotting movement across the French Broad River. A gaze that pierced through bluster and bravado, seeing to the bone beneath, missing nothing, and weighing everything with a precision honed by time and trial. Her robe hung crisp over a firm frame, tempered by years of discipline, broad shoulders from years hiking the Appalachian trails before law school, her voice steady with authority. Then, as now, calling out to her team across rugged paths, her boots crunching gravel, hands steady from wielding gavels and pens, their knuckles faintly knotted from gripping reins, and drafting orders with a clarity that left no room for evasion or excuse. Her voice, a firm, steady drawl, honed by a decade on the bench, carrying a steel forged through countless courtroom tangles. As she called the case, her tone slicing through the cool air like a whistle, cutting a silent ridge, sharp and unyielding. Ellis versus Carter civil claim, $3,000 property damage dispute. Let's hear it, folks, and keep it tight. I want facts, not feelings. We're here for evidence, not excuses. I've got a docket stacked high, and this chill's not waiting for dawdling, so let's get moving now. Sarah sat at the plaintiff's table, flanked by her counsel, a wiry public defender named Tom Ellis, no relation, with a rumpled suit that hung loose on his slight frame, its gray fabric creased from too many days in court, and a quick pen that danced across his notepad with a nervous energy, his sharp brown eyes darting between his client and the bench evidence stacked before them. Dashcam footage, stills, repair bills, police report affidavits, a tower of proof, her steady green eyes glinting with resolve, her blonde hair pulled into a loose bun, its ends fraying slightly in the cool air, her florist's apron traded for a crisp white blouse under a thrift store blazer that pinched at the shoulders, its navy fabric slightly faded but pressed with care. Her hands steady on her folder, despite the tremor of anger beneath her calm. A fire stoked by weeks of replaying that swerve, that crunch, her steady gaze fixed on justice, she wouldn't let slip. James sat at the defendant's table alone, his contractors, pride too thick to hire help, despite the free legal aid offered at the clerk's window. When he filed his response, his savings stretched thin by a slow season and a truck transmission repair that had cost him $1,200 in September, his hands clutching a thin stack of papers. Witness statement, handwritten notes, his fingers calloused and stained with sawdust from a morning cutting beams at a site. His gruff voice steady as he adjusted his faded ball cap, its logo worn from years under the sun, his gray eyes hard with defiance, his broad frame tense beneath a flannel shirt rolled to the elbows, his breath even as he braced for the fight. Clara leaned forward, her elbows resting on the bench, her blue eyes scanning their filings. Sarah's typed complaint for $3,000. Its pages crisp with dates, dollar amounts, and a detailed affidavit of the October 12th incident, laid out in stark black ink. Its precision of florist's care. James' handwritten response, its ink smudged from anxious handling. A contractor's scrawl claiming, "No fault, normal breaking," scratched out in haste, her pen tapping a slow, deliberate rhythm against her notepad. Each tap, a signal she was sifting through their mess with a hiker's patience and a judge's firm gaze. Her voice cutting through the gallery's hum, like a starter's call, sharp and clear. "Fault's the line here every time I see it in this room. A car's damage caught in the balance evidence draws. It prove your case. Show me facts, not stories. I want specifics, not guesses. Let's cut to it. Who swerved? Who braked? I need clarity, not chaos. In this courtroom today, no tears, no tantrums, just truth. Who's first? Her drawl carried a firm authority, her gaze shifting between them, like a spotlight seeking cracks in their armor, weighing their claims with a steadiness that brooked no evasion. Her hands steady on the bench as she flipped through Sarah's complaint. Dashcam stills. October 12, 4:15 p.m. Repair bill, $3,000. Police report, disputed fault. Then James' response witness statement, a note scribbled on a napkin. She was close. I braked normal. Her lips thinning slightly. As she read the dates, her blue eyes narrowing with a flicker of scrutiny. Woman claims intent. Man claims reflex. Dashcams here. Police saw it. I need proof, not pleas. Let's start with the plaintiff. The gallery buzzed whispers, swelling retirees. Like Ed Grayson, a grizzled mechanic with a thermos of black coffee, muttering to his wife Clara, a retired clerk with a notepad clutched in her lap. Car wreck. Judge'll sort it. She's tough as nails. He don't stand a chance with video. Young workers like Tara Mills, a barista with a faded apron stuffed in her bag, whispering to her friend Lena Ortiz, a cashier with tired eyes and a borrowed blazer. She's got him. Dashcam's gold. He's toast. James' coworker, Sam Carter, lanky with a tool belt slung low, nudging his pal Luke Ramsey, a roofer, with a thick beard and a faded Tar Heels t-shirt. He is right. She was close, judge'll see. It wasn't his fault she overreacted. Their voices a low hum of anticipation. A chorus, threading through the tension, their bets and murmurs, a backdrop to the courtroom's simmering storm, a pulse matching the cool air, and the lights, steady glow overhead, a rhythm that quickened as Sarah rose, her steady green eyes fixed on Clara, her resolve a steel thread beneath her calm. Sarah's jaw tightened, her fingers clenching her folder until the edges creased her breath, steadying, as she stood, her sneakers silent on the marble. James' hands steadied, his gray eyes flickering with defiance, his broad frame shifting slightly as he watched. Clara's words, a gauntlet, thrown their clash, now a courtroom battlefield under her firm and steady gaze. Asheville's golden hills, a faint shimmer beyond the tall windows, their crisp air pressing down like a judgment waiting to fall. The city's brick skyline, a quiet witness to their unraveling truth, a story poised to unfold beneath her piercing scrutiny. Sarah testified first, climbing the stand with a steady step that echoed softly off the marble floor, her white blouse crisp under her thrift store blazer, its navy fabric slightly faded but pressed with the care of a woman who knew every detail. Could tip the scales, her voice calm but edged with a quiet fury that simmered beneath her florist's poise. A fire stoked by weeks of replaying that swerve, that crunch as she swore, her hand firm on the Bible, its leather creased and soft from years of oaths, a weight grounding her resolve. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God. But she sat, hands resting on the rail, fingers tracing its worn grain, as she adjusted the microphone with a faint squeak, her steady green eyes locking on Clara, with a resolve tempered by years, running her shop and raising her son alone, her blonde bun swaying slightly, as she leaned in, her breath steadying against the cool air, her voice threading through the stillness. He cut me off October 12th, 4:15 p.m. Highway 41 braked hard, forced me to swerve. $3,000 damage to my Accord dashcam shows. His black SUV merged right into my lane, slammed his brakes. I hit the guardrail to avoid him. She slid her evidence across the stand, dashcam stills. Timestamped October 12th, 4:15 p.m. Repair bill from Asheville. Auto, $3,000 police report. Her voice steady, carrying across the room, with a weight that filled the silence, a florist's precision beneath her calm. 4:15 p.m. Mile marker 12 southbound. His SUV merges from Pine Grove Road. Cuts me off, brake lights. Flare 10 seconds, I swerve right. Hit the rail, photos, show it, dashcam videos clear. $3,000 bill here. Police came 4:25 p.m. Report says disputed fault, but it's him. He braked hard on purpose. Clara leaned forward, Her blue eyes sharp and unyielding, her pen poised over her notepad. Its nib glinting faintly under the fluorescent lights. As she tapped it once, a signal she was digging into the marrow of Sarah's words, her voice cutting dry through the cool air, like a blade through mist. Dashcam. Clear exact, what's it showtime? Distance speed, prove it to me, not just your say-so. Sarah's hands steadied her voice, firm, her steady green eyes glinting with a fire that burned beneath her calm. As she slid stills forward, her fingers steady, despite the tremor of anger. Here, dashcam, 4:15 Ostrom. No 3 p.m., October 12, his SUV merges 50 feet ahead. I'm at 50 miles per hour, speed limit. Brake lights flare. 4:15:05 p.m. 10 seconds red. I swerve right. 4:15:13 p.m. Hit the rail, stills show it videos full. 15 seconds. I'm 50 feet back when he merges. Then brakes hard. Road's clear. No cars ahead. He didn't need to brake like that. Intent, prove it. How's it show he meant it, not just braked? Show me his mind. Not your guess. Brake lights flare sudden. No reason. Road clear ahead. No traffic. No animal. No stop. 10 seconds red. He held it. I'd have hit him if I didn't swerve. He meant it to scare me or worse, she said, her voice rising slightly, a tremor of fury breaking through her calm, her steady green eyes glinting with a flicker of fear beneath the resolve, her hands trembling faintly as she pointed to the stills. Damage cost specifics. What's it cover? Show me the bill, not just a number. $3,000, Asheville Auto. October 14th, estimate door dented. $1,500 fender, scraped, $1,000 labor. $500 bill here, photos of it October 12. 4:30 p.m., guardrail marks match, she said, her voice firm, her hands unclenching slightly as she handed over the bill. Her steady green eyes meeting Clara's sharp gaze, her resolve a steel thread beneath her calm. Clara scribbled, her voice dry as the Asheville dust outside her drawl, measured but piercing. Videos key intense, murky, his turn, I need his side facts, don't lie, people bend, go on. James countered, climbing the stand with a heavy step that thudded against the marble, his flannel shirt rolled to the elbows over broad forearms that flexed with tension. His gruff voice steady but edged with defiance as he swore, his hand heavy on the Bible, its weight grounding his resolve. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God. He sat, hands gripping the rail, fingers digging into the wood as he adjusted the microphone, his gray eyes locking on Clara with defiance, and a flicker of irritation that simmered beneath his broad frame, tense beneath the flannel. His breath steady as he leaned in. She tailgated. I braked normal, no intent. Her swerve, her fault, not mine. She was too close. I didn't cut her off. She overreacted, that's it. He slid his thin papers across the stand, witness statement from Sam Carter. Handwritten notes on a napkin. His voice, firm, cutting through the cool air like a saw through timber. 4:15 p.m., October 12th. Highway 41. She was on me, 10 feet back. Maybe less. I merged, braked normal, she swerved, hit the rail. Sam saw it from his truck behind, said she was close. No intent, just driving, she panicked. Her fault. Clara. Evidence breaking, how hard? How long? Prove it wasn't hard, show me facts, not words. James' hands steadied his voice, gruff, his gray eyes glinting with a flicker of scorn as he leaned back slightly. No, dashcam, my word. Sam, as he saw it. She was 10 feet back. I merged 50 miles per hour, braked normal, maybe 2 seconds, she was too close. Swerved. I didn't slam, nothing hard, roads clear, but she was on me. Distance, her car proved 10 feet. How's he know? Show me his eyes. Not your guess. Sam's truck, behind 20 feet, saw her close, said. She was on his tail. 4:16 p.m. Wrote it here. He knows driving, saw her swerve, he said, handing over the statement. His hands steady, his gray eyes meeting Clara's sharp scrutiny, his voice rising slightly. Intent, why brake? What did you see? Prove, reflex, not purpose. Saw her close in my mirror, 4:15 p.m. Merged, braked, normal, reflex, she was there tailgating, didn't mean to scare. Just drive, no purpose. Road's clear, but she was too tight. he said, his voice firm, his hands unclenching slightly, his gray eyes glinting with a flicker of defiance beneath the strain. Clara scribbled, her voice sharp, her blue eyes narrowing. Words bend evidence. Talks, videos, next witnesses. I need steel, not straw. Buh. Witnesses clashed, their voices threading through the tension, like sparks in a dry wind, each adding fuel to the blaze. Sarah's friend, Lena Ortiz, a barista with a steady gaze and a tight ponytail, testified, climbing the stand with a calm step, her voice steady, her brown eyes clear. October 12th, 4:20 p.m. Highway 41 drove by, saw his black SUV swerve into her lane. Brake sharp, she swerved. Hit the railroad, was clear. No cars ahead, saw it from my Corolla, 50 feet back, slowed down. Clara. Exact time. What did you see? Brake lights. How long? Clear as you can. 4:20 p.m. His SUV swerved right. Brake lights, red, sharp, 10 seconds maybe. She swerved, hit the railroad, clear ahead. No traffic, saw it, plane 50 feet back, Lena said, her voice calm. Her hands steady. Her brown eyes meeting Clara's, sharp gaze. Her words a steady thread cutting through the hum. James' co-worker Sam Carter. Lanky, with a faded cap and a tool belt, slung low, countered, his boots scuffing. As he climbed the stand, his voice gruff but firm. October 12th, 4:16 p.m. Highway 41 in my truck. 20 feet behind. She was on him, 10 feet back, maybe less. He merged, braked, normal, 2 seconds. She swerved, hit the rail. She was too close, panicked. Wrote it down. Clara. Distance, how'd you know? 10 feet, prove it, not guess. What did you see? Exact. 4:16 p.m. My F. 150, 20 feet back, saw her accord. 10 feet off his bumper. Close, he merged, braked. Normal, 2 seconds. Lights red, she swerved. Hit the rail. Wrote at 4:20 p.m. Napkin in my truck, saw it clear, Sam said. His voice steady, his hands shifting, his cap tilting slightly as he handed over the napkin. His gray eyes meeting Clara's scrutiny, his words a steady counterpoint. Evidence tangled, Sarah's dashcam stills, October 12th, 4:15:03 p.m. SUV merges, brake lights, flare. 4:15:05 p.m. 10 seconds, red swerve. 4:15:13 p.m. Rail hit, grainy but clear. James witness napkin. 4:16 p.m. She was 10 feet back, he braked normal, she swerved. No video. Police report 4:25 p.m. Disputed fault, no tickets. Neutral accounts split, Sarah's. He cut me off, braked hard, James. She tailgated, I braked normal. Clara probed, voice sharp, her blue eyes blazing. Intent or reflex, dashcam shows brake 10 seconds, road clear. Why brake so long? Prove it to me. Mr. Carter, reflex or purpose? What's it say? James. Reflex, she was close, mirror showed it 10 feet. Braked normal, 2 seconds, she swerved, dashcam's wrong on time. Clara. Dashcam's fact, your 2 bends next. A week of heat testimony piled like logs on a fire. Voices rose like thunder, rolling over the hills, papers shuffled into stacks, their edges curling in the cool air, their ink smudged from anxious hands. The courtroom a crucible, simmering with sweat and strain, its air thick with the weight of words and the hum of the galleries, murmurs swelling like a storm breaking over the ridges. Clara, recessed daily, retreating to her chambers, a quiet nook with a scratched desk cluttered with files, and a half-read novel, its pages yellowed from years on the shelf, a window framing Asheville's skyline, crisp through a clear pane. The city's brick buildings and golden hills glowing in November's light, her coffee cooling untouched beside a stack of North Carolina statutes and a worn legal pad. Its pages scribbled with notes. Times, distances, frames, her boots tapping a steady rhythm against the hardwood. As she paced, her mind sifting through the tangle with a hiker's patience and a judge's steady precision, weighing every word, every glance, every scrap of evidence against the emotional currents swirling beneath like the French Broad's hidden depths, its flow steady but unseen, its silt muddying the truth. She returned on Monday, November 20th, her robe rustling as she climbed the bench, her voice firm, cutting through the rooms, hum like a blade, through silence. Her blue eyes sweeping the gallery, then settling on the tables with a weight that pinned them like stones under a river's steady current, her presence, a firm anchor in the storm, her drawl sharp. Dashcam shows abrupt brake faults is $3,000 to Ellis, October 12, 4:15 p.m. Brake lights flare. 10 seconds, road clear, no cause, but intense unclear. Negligence holds. She leaned forward, her pen tapping, once her voice rising, her blue eyes blazing like a storm over the Smokies, her words a thunderclap that silenced the room. Evidence don't lie, Mr. Carter. You do dashcams clear, 4:15:03 p.m., October 12th. Your SUV merges. Brake lights flare. 4:15:05 p.m. 10 seconds, red road clear ahead. No traffic, no stop, no need, she swerves. 4:15:13 p.m. Hits the rail. $3,000 damage. Repair bill proves it, police saw it. Witnesses split, but videos steal. Your normal bends too far, 10 feet or 50 breaks too long. Fault's yours, not hers. Intense murky, but negligence. Ain't she? Swerve to save you, pay for it, $3,000. Due. 30 days. But Sarah exhaled, her steady green eyes softening, a flicker of relief washing over her. Her hands unclenching on her folder, a weight lifted through the echo of that crunch lingered. James bristled, his gray eyes hard, his broad frame tensing, his hands clenching his napkin until it tore. Truth hung a shadow, unresolved in spirit. A fault he couldn't shrug off, a burden, now his to bear. The gallery hummed, Ed muttering, "She's got him cold, videos king." Clara nodding. "Fair's fair, he braked, she paid." Tara whispering, "Told you dashcam wins." Lena grinning, "She's fierce." Sam shaking his head, "He didn't mean it." Luke silent, Clara's gavel fell a crisp thud. Wood meeting wood, echoing like a door slamming shut, silencing the storm. $3,000 due. 30 days, no appeal, will change facts, Mr. Carter, pay it. Learn it faults, not a guess, it's a line next case. Outside, Asheville glowed under a dusk streaked with amber and violet. The air cooling as the sun sank behind the blue ridge, its golden light glinting off the French Broad's gentle ripples. Sarah drove off her Accord, repaired its silver finish gleaming faintly, her steady green eyes glinting with relief and a quiet hope. Her hands steady on the wheel as she headed home to her apartment on Biltmore Avenue, petals still scattered in the back. A faint reminder of that day, her mind drifting to the quiet evening ahead, a glass of wine, a book, a pause earned. James lingered by his SUV in the courthouse lot, its black finish dulled by dusk, his gray eyes hard, his broad frame slumped against the door, his hands gripping his cap, tension unspent, a storm brewing beneath his silence, his gruff voice muttering to the wind. "Wasn't my fault. She was close." A shadow of doubt he couldn't shake. A fault he couldn't shrug off, a burden now etched in his stride as he climbed in and drove north, his taillights fading into the golden glow. Clara drove home to her cabin on the city's edge, its cedar walls golden under the fading sun, now swallowed by dusk. The Blue Ridge peaks a silhouette against the sky, their edges blurring into shadow, pines whispering in the breeze, her truck rumbling over gravel, its tires crunching leaves as she pondered. Would clarity mend between two drivers bound by a moment's clash? Would fault's edge soften or drift further into the dusk like a question unanswered, a lesson unlearned? The horizon stretched north, Carolina's hills whispering under a sky deepening to indigo, the river glinting faintly, a mirror to her thoughts. What defines fault's edge when intent blurs what waits in the golden glow for a woman with proof and a man with pride? What lessons linger in the crisp air for a clash that broke a car, but not the truth? A question hung open and vast, shimmering in Asheville's crisp night. A truth unresolved, a story trailing into the dusk. Its next chapter, waiting beyond the courtroom, beyond the hills, beyond the quiet glow that settled over the city like a promise, yet to unfold, a whisper of what might be. Thank you all for watching this video. Please comment and let me know what you think about this story. Please like and subscribe to watch more great content on my channel.